Hello again, everybody. Once again, it's time for another episode of Michael's Record Collection, and I'm very happy to have with me for this episode recording artist Nevena. How are you?
I'm good, Michael. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been enjoying your self-titled debut album that came out December 9th on Frontiers Music,
Mhm.
and I can't wait to dive into this album a little bit with you. But before we get to that, I always like to go back and ask people, what was your first favorite record?
Oh my. That's a good question. Well, you know what? When I grew up, when I was growing up, which was I was born in 1993. So it started as like YouTube era and all that. So basically, we would not really be sticking to albums much,
Hmm.
but more to songs and our different artists. So like mixing it up. But my favorite, well, let's see, in middle school, I was obsessed with metal rock bands actually, like such as Nightwish, Iron Maiden, um, and then Guns N' Roses, as such. And then later on, I mean, I was into pop, obviously with Houston and stuff like that. Um, but now, as I'm actually getting older, I am getting more interested in albums again, which is strange. Yes, I wasn't into that as much. I would listen to different songs, but not like the whole album.
Yeah.
And now I was just saying, I like Bon Iver. I like new artists that came, like indie pop rock, like Cozier, Take Me to Church. That whole album is amazing. Or Maggie Rogers. Um, the first album, Light with Light on it, and stuff like that. So it's really hard to choose one,
Sure.
but I'm very versatile. I love jazz too, so I can go on and never stop talking about this.
So you took piano and music theory at age 9, according to the bio. When did your
Mhm.
training sort of change into pursuing music as a career?
I think, well, I did, yeah, I did. I went started actually going to music school at the age of 9. Then once I was done with middle school, went to music high school, which was like basically music high school with liberal arts um, subjects. And that's when it started getting serious. So I knew I was gonna go to music college. But oh, buddy, stop. Sorry, I have a dog. Um, but what I think the First Voice of Serbia, which was the competition, similar to the Voice that you have, was what made me decide to be a that I want to be a vocalist and a singer, and I want to actually study that. I wasn't sure that I was into music theory and conducting and that, and then it turned. It changed for me. I went pretty far with it. Um, and I wasn't even, yeah, I wasn't expecting it. My mom actually signed me up. So that's, I think, when it turned for me. Yeah.
Okay. And now I know you play piano. Did you pick up any other instruments along the way?
I did a little bit of guitar, tried bass guitar, but it's honestly just stopped at it's chords. I can play the chords, nothing too fancy.
Okay.
Life gets too busy and I just don't find time for it.
Yeah.
I wish I had time to play more instruments and just practice all the time.
Yeah. You mentioned
Um,
you already brought up the fact that you are from Serbia.
mhm.
What was the music scene like in Serbia growing up? What type of music would you typically hear?
Oh,
Um,
that's a good question. Really good. Nobody asked me this question, but it's interesting. It's different. I mean, before I was born, and it was still Yugoslavia before the war, we had some great rock bands, I have to say, really good. And then after, when we had like 90s, it's like that weird music happened, just some like trash pop music. And then After that, it became all like we call it turbo folk.
Okay.
So it's folk music. You have like folk traditional elements, like Eastern European, Southeast, whatever, Balkan music, but then with turbo, like with techno elements, and just, production that is more um, modern. So then it sounds like you probably heard it, like Greek, they have it, all Balkans, we all have it. So, and that was permanent. That was prominent, actually, I want to say, and dominant in Serbia, although I wasn't much interested in it. So I still listen to my music and would still go to some great concerts. And we had some artists that were there fighting for, rock scene and pop music, but not as many.
Yeah. Tell
And
me
that's
about
how it is today,
yeah.
actually, too. So
Okay. Tell me about your
yeah.
experience on the First Voice of Serbia and where you became a finalist. How did you get started on that? Where'd the idea come from and what was that like for you?
So I started. My mom signed me up. I didn't know. It was a surprise. Oh God, I was 17, so I wasn't even. I remember I couldn't sign. They had to sign for me, sign papers for me. And so it started. I was very insecure, and just a little girl. I mean, I was young,
Mhm.
especially at that time. Now I feel kids are getting to mature much faster and earlier, actually. But I felt like I might maybe I wasn't ready for it like 100%. But I got into it. It went pretty well, and people loved me for some reason, and I just stayed until the very end. And it was me as a super finalist with another two guys. I was the youngest one there, so it was pretty good. I mean, I was, at some point I was really famous, so I got to experience that, and I got to see if I like it for myself or not really, that world, and is
Mhm.
that for me really? And I just tried it all. I met some great people. I stayed friends with some, really good, successful musicians and people in Serbia and show business. So it was an amazing experience. I would do it again for sure
What
if
was
I
that?
went back in time.
What was it like for you when people started to notice you and recognize you from the show?
Oh, it's so weird. It's just, it's almost unhealthy for an 18-year-old, for that to happen suddenly overnight, where you start getting 2,000 messages a day, and then you see yourself on billboards in capital city. I'm not even from capital city. I mean, I went to high school there, so I was there and I lived there, but it was overwhelming, but it was fun. I would
Mhm.
be, walking down the street, giving autographs everywhere, all over the place, singing in front of 10,000 people. Definitely, yeah, and made me tougher, and I learned a lot from it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any experience you can learn from is good. So
Oh, it is. Yes.
so you decided to leave home and go to the Berklee College of Music in Boston. What sort of led you to that decision?
So I was already in college in Serbia, to be exact. Then my best friend, who I started dating at that time, was already at Berklee. And he was like, you know what, you should try. Why don't you come one summer, audition, and see what happens? And I obviously didn't want to pay for it. I was just like, okay, if I get a great scholarship, I can do it. But other than that, no, it's not worth it. But then I did audition. It went really well. And I got in and I got a really good scholarship. And here I am today,
Here you
still
are.
in Boston. Yeah.
Um, Nevena, you obviously you have your first album. We're about to talk about that a little bit, but who are some of the singers and bands that influenced your style and your and sort of the way that you approach singing?
Yeah, I would say that it really influenced me. So many. I would say even like some Serbian artists, pop artists too, you know. Um, some Serbian pop artists. I said Nightwish definitely influenced me in my opera singing and like wanting to, you know, learn that kind of style, that style. And then I was obviously obsessed with Whitney Houston because I still think she's the greatest singer ever. So yeah, a lot of that side with the Houston, and then when I went to college, obviously jazz was a big part. So Sarah Vaughan, then Ella Fitzgerald, um, even male singers too, Kurt Elling and such, Gregory Porter. And then later on, I got into that indie pop, Bon Iver, style, Fleetwood Mac,
Yeah.
different, all
Okay.
sorts of thing.
You you also founded your own music school according to your website, Monody or Monody, or I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monody,
how is
yeah,
Monody going for you?
pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's growing. Now it has, so far it has 75 students. So yes, I have some teachers who work with me. We do some big concerts twice a year for students, and yeah, it's all ages. We do piano, voice, guitar, songwriting. It's pretty good. I'm proud of it, and I really love education. It's a big part of my career, and it'll definitely stay that way until the very end. So, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good. I'm happy with it.
Right. Now your album is very melodic rock. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not very similar to many of the bands or artists that we've talked about so far. So
Oh yeah.
how did Frontiers Music become aware of you, and how did how did you sort of get connected with them?
Yes. Um, so through my friend acquaintance, we knew each other from Serbia, Srđan, who also has he's a signed artist with Frontiers. His Big Deal, the Big Deal. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've heard of his.
Yeah.
Yes. So he asked me actually if I'm interested in listening to the project and to demo songs and deciding if I like it or not. And he told me, feel free, you know, I understand you might not like it, knowing my background and everything, right? Um, and then I listened to the songs, and actually, you know, songs are really catchy, and as you say, melodic.
Hmm.
Lots of guitars in it, and all of that, making it a little bit more like rock, like hard rock. Um, but I really love the songs. I was into it, and I could picture myself singing those songs easily.
Hmm.
So like, you know what? It's good. I like this. I actually do like it. And then I did a little demo, recorded myself singing the song, sent it over. They liked it. We did an interview and decided to move on with it, and here we are.
Here you are.
Yes,
Now I know
yes.
you've done some singing in your native language. So I saw your video for Vodi May, for example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What made you decide that you wanted to record songs and sing in English?
You know, just at some point I started writing in English, writing songs in English too. Um, I think it's just living here and studying here influenced me. That was it. You know, it just and I don't live in I'm not really I don't spend much time in Serbia anymore, and I'm not interested in maintaining career over there.
Hmm.
So, and yeah, the songs that I write, the songs that I recently also wrote, I'm gonna release it soon. It's also in English, and it just like writing in English became um, just a second nature, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Well, your English
Yeah.
is very good.
Thank you.
So
I try.
you've obviously been paying attention, and all those years in school, you've obviously paid quite a bit of attention. And of course, you're
Thank you.
immersed in the culture now, so I'm sure you pick up a
Exactly.
lot.
Yes.
And you don't seem to have picked up a Boston accent, which is also a plus.
Oh my gosh, it is a plus, right? It's not the best accent. No, no,
So
I still have my accent. Yeah. Mhm.
so Nevena is the name of the album, and according to the information I got, this is yourself on lead vocals, backing vocals, and piano, and then everything else is attributed to Michael Palace.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how did you and Michael cross paths, or was that something that Frontiers set up?
So it was through, I think they were looking for a singer for that certain project,
Mm-hmm.
for this project. And then I did a demo song for what was the song? Brand New Heart. That was the song.
Okay.
I did a little demo at that time, and I think it was sent to Mike. He liked it, and he said, "Okay, this girl is the one." I mean, for the project, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we crossed paths, and then started talking, and obviously we were on the phone all the time while we were recording, and because it was all virtual
Mm-hmm.
distance. Yeah.
So when did the recording process begin for you guys?
It was sometime in spring, so I think we decided to move forward with the project last by the end of last summer. Not this summer. Was what year was that?
21.
2021
Okay.
exactly. That's I think, and it was the summer when I had an interview, and then Mike did released his album that winter, like last year. After he released an album, he finalized the songs, sent it over like, I don't know, February, something like that, and then I had basically 2 months to record everything and learn the songs, and so it was intense
Yeah.
because yeah, we did in 5 weeks all the songs, but it was with teaching and all this full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, record in the morning, go teach, and a lot, but it was worth it, I would say.
Wow. So 11 songs in 5 weeks. Were there any songs that you recorded that didn't make the album?
No, that
No
was all.
waste.
No waste, no
Nothing
waste.
wasted. No B sides. No hidden rarities. Uh,
Nope.
so tell me about the writing process. Was this something that the songs came to you already pretty much sketched out, and the lyrics were already done, or did you have any hand in that at all?
Yes, they were mostly done by that time, but
Hmm.
February, yes. I think he was finalizing it January, February, and I didn't really, yeah, I didn't um, add anything to that. So it was all finalized and ready to go, all the arrangements. We had to decide on the keys, obviously, so we did that together to find the best keys for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and uh, and I helped a little bit with backing vocals. I threw a little bit of magic there, but other than that, it's all Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 3 singles out already from this album, and it dropped on December 9th, like I said, from Frontiers. And so it's already available at all the streaming services and Amazon and all that, the
Mm-hmm.
Frontiers web shop. So the one that I kind of thought was interesting to me was not even a single, was Straight Into Madness. That's the one that sounds like the obvious single to me. What
Hmm.
what were your impressions of that particular song? Because I don't want to go track by track through the whole album, but I do want to touch on some of these songs.
Yes, I would say that that song it has a different vibe to it. It's a little bit different. It is typical ladies rock song, but it does have that big like even like Toto style, like Toto melody. I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially the chorus and um like the little tag in after the chorus. And I think, by the way, it's interesting that you mentioned that because it wasn't Mike who wrote that song.
Okay.
That was the only song that was written by someone else, and I probably should know the name, but I don't.
Okay.
Um, um, yeah, so that was the one, or maybe it was like they collaborated. I'm not. Maybe I'm just being wrong now, so I want to correct myself. That was maybe a collaboration. I like that song a lot. I think it has a positive vibe to it. Um, and lots of backing vocals too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That one stuck out to me as a really strong one. And so
it
some of
is
the
a strong
ones
one there.
I've put like I'll put a little asterisk next to some of these songs that were among my favorites, and the first three right off the bat, all of them are very strong: Bulletproof, Bad Sun Rising, and Straight Into Madness. And then I also have U2 and
Mm,
Outrageous. Now
mm,
U2 is an
mm.
interesting song because it seems to be about someone who is like, it's like, I hope you guys are happy. You two just go on and have a great life. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. But it's the words,
Yeah,
the words, you don't believe the singer in the words. You don't believe this person's fine.
I think she's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that song, by the way, and I think we did a good job with that one, and it should be a single. I feel like, but I think she is a badass woman, and who just had to accept that, and she knew that she had to accept it. She obviously, it's not a happy situation, and she might be sad,
Hmm.
but you know what? She's like, okay, yes, you were like, I thought at least you were the best two things in my life, and now I lost it. But you know what? Go, yeah, to just like be happy and goodbye. I'll never see you again. I'll move on. You move on. It has a positive vibe to it too, right?
Yeah, it does. I
So
wondered
you're
about
not
that.
sure exactly, like, wait, is she all right? Or I feel like that's why I imagine if there was a video for that song with an actual, like story behind it, that would be
Yeah,
cool, right?
it would be cool. Yeah. I
Yeah,
when
I
I
love that.
when I listened to it the first time, I took it at face value. And then after subsequent
Uh-huh.
listens, I was thinking, is this someone that's putting on just a brave face? And but you seem to your interpretation of it seems to be that this person is okay and they are empowered and that they are actually genuinely happy for these two people, even though it kind of like shook their own life to its foundation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's not happy, but she just lets it go. She just is able to let go. And I think that would be me in that situation. So maybe that's why I see it that way and perceive it that way. You
Okay.
know, if you're out of my life, it's for a reason. Probably it's better that way. And that's always my philosophy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Another one I thought was interesting lyrically was "Veil on the Mirror." This one is one of the more interesting lyrical songs. Tell me what you think of when you think of this song and the lyrics from this song.
Yes. Wait, remind me how it goes.
So "Veil
Oh,
on
I
the Mirror" is
forgot.
the one where it seems like it's about someone who's going to walk down the aisle and
Oh,
they're sort of
yes.
reflecting literally
Uh,
and figuratively.
yes, but then well, I perceive it as not as a happy story for sure. Not
Hmm.
as a happy, um, wait, turn off the veil on the mirror. I got my yeah, I kind of forgot the whole song and how it goes. I would have to like recap a little recap. Wait, tell me, what are your emotions about it.
I just thought it was interesting because it I couldn't figure out if this was someone who is about to be married and is looking in the mirror thinking about that, because they do talk about the when I throw the bouquet and all that stuff, and or if it was
Oh yeah.
more metaphorical, you know.
Yes. I would say it actually was going to happen, and it was a situation in which the person was about to get married. Yes.
Okay.
But the point is, the question is that person happy and about that situation and in that moment, or isn't she not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like all of this type of music, all melodic rock, you have to have a ballad, right?
Obviously, yes.
And so the second single
Miracles.
is Miracles, yes, a ballad. Now that I'm assuming that's your piano.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
We didn't have the actual real piano, which is sadly.
Mhm.
So we had to use keyboard, but we did it.
Okay. Well, it sounds good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and I
Pretty
I
good.
I thought it was interesting because you sang lower in your register than what you'd previously shown throughout the rest of the album. So to me,
Oh, yes,
you
that's a
dropped
good
down a little bit
point.
there.
Yes, you know why? I was sick.
Oh, really?
I was actually sick. That's a good point. Yeah, I was sick for the last few songs. It was just the last session, and I got sick. My voice was really tired and stuff. So I remember that I just didn't want to go crazy with the keys. I was like, you know what, better be safe than sorry. I just want to make sure that I feel comfortable. And but actually, Mike liked it. He's like, you know what, you sound great sick. And I'm like, oh, great, perfect, thank you very much. Makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's amazing
Uh,
that you were sick because it didn't sound like that. It just sounded like you made a choice to sing that particular song lower.
it is true. Yes, it was lower, but it does get high at a certain point.
Hmm.
So that's why I had to keep it down. I think the range is also a little bit bigger in that song, wider. It starts off low and then it gets a little bit higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first song that you guys worked on? Was it Brand New Heart?
It was a writer's block.
Right.
Well, I did demo for that. So that was the first song I heard
Hmm.
and I liked, and I decided to move forward with it thanks to that song. But the first, I really loved Writer's Block. I feel like just it was the first one I recorded, so maybe that's why I just feel we could have done better with that one. Feel like it has a potential. It's a good song.
Yeah.
Um, so I started kind of with my favorite songs, and then towards the end, it was just, I mean, I love them all,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was Writer's Block. It was You Too, and then Outrageous, which I love,
Yeah.
and then Too Late, I loved too. Straight into Madness, and so on.
Hmm. Well, that's interesting that you worked on them in that particular order. Um, but yeah,
Yes,
I like Writer's Block a lot. I mean, there are no bad songs on this album. This is a pretty
exactly. Yeah, the
consistent
songs are
album from
really good.
start to finish. Outrageous is an interesting song because it's a little poppier than the rest of the album. The rest of the album, I think, is a little more melodic rock, and I think this one's a little poppier.
Hmm.
I could imagine
Yeah.
Miley, like a Miley Cyrus or a Christina Aguilera, singing this song. So it
Oh,
was
no
interesting.
problem. I mean, honestly, if you all the songs, most of the songs could be put into pop arrangements, like modern pop arrangements. Like you too, Taylor Swift could take that song and just do her thing with that,
Mhm. Yeah, I see that.
melodically and lyrically. But then arrangements obviously add to it a lot.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're right. Like Straight into Madness and Bulletproof. It's definitely typical 80s melodic rock song.
Hmm. you got your whoa, whoa,
Yes.
whoas and, you know, that
Oh
kind of
yes,
thing.
big choruses
Yeah.
and just like very straightforward.
Yeah.
But these like writer's block, U2, Outrageous, these are more modern, I would say, in a way.
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
those first few, and it really kind of is emphasized with the guitar work too in those first few songs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's 11 songs, and it's, you know, like I said, it's very consistent qualitatively throughout. I think that there are no like songs that sound like filler. It sounds like you guys
Mm-hmm.
came up with 11 very strong songs. And um, the other
Yeah.
thing I did want to mention is that it seemed like Veil on the Mirror was a song that I could imagine. I could imagine the band Churches doing that with like maybe a little bit more electronics.
Oh. Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I really like the confidence you sort of exert in the song Fire in Me. I think that that one comes off
Mm.
as a very, I think you sing that one in a way that just seems very strong and confident.
Yeah, and in fact I was sick for that one too. And I think it actually was a good fit for that song. Being a little bit more, just a raspy voice, having a little raspy voice, just slightly. Thank you.
Sounds like you got a little cold going now, actually.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm always sick. It's just
Well,
unbelievable.
welcome to the north. Welcome to the Northeast United States.
Oh, yes.
A lot of
Are
people, a
you
lot
in
of cold
Florida?
days. I'm in Orlando, Florida. So right now
Lucky
we're
you.
a little chillier than normal, but it's nobody from Boston would feel any kind of sympathy for what we've
I
got
heard.
going
I
on now.
heard.
Yeah. So you mentioned your
I know.
I always like to ask people if they have favorite songs on this album, and you already sort of answered that question. So
Yeah.
were there any songs that were more difficult for you to get through or to complete? Any ones that that you weren't sure if we were ever going to get this one right?
No, I mean, y- it wasn't hard to do it. I feel just if I maybe had more time to kind of play around with some songs, it would have been better. And maybe it would be a better product and better result. But I think I did my best with time I had and everything, given the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, you know what? Sometimes I thought that like on a certain song I didn't do well, and then Mike would be, "No, this is the best one." I'm like, "Wait, what?" So it's so individual.
Sure.
It's how you feel, your internal feeling. It might not be an actual um, reality.
Mm.
So,
So with you and Mike just putting this together, I mean, is there any chance there will be live shows to support the material?
oh, I really hope so. I mean, I'll definitely make that happen in Boston. Um, I'll yeah, put up a band. I have a little band, my band in Boston that will perform with me, and we do a little like album release concert, and then we'll see from there. I'll definitely do some acoustic versions, post it, get it out there, and see how people like it. I think once a certain amount of people hear what we have to offer, and the songs are really, I think, catchy and good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would have a good audience to go and present it somewhere. And I know Frontiers do lots of festivals and stuff like that. So I'm hoping for it.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're in a good part of the country for it because you don't have to go
Hmm.
very far to go to, a lot of other major,
Anywhere.
yeah, population centers, I guess is what I was looking for.
I
But
agree. Yeah, yeah. That's a good Northeast is a good location.
yeah, I know because you guys up there, you'll get all the good concerts, and us down here in Florida, we get, occasionally get good concerts.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, but you're not too far. I mean, you can always, well, not that you want to fly for a concert, obviously, but
yeah.
you're not too
I have
far.
made some exceptions. I have the last time was last December. I flew north to see Genesis on their farewell tour
Ooh,
because they weren't
nice.
coming here. So, you know, that
Very cool.
had to happen. They're my favorite band, so I had to go somewhere else to watch them. So,
Yes, obviously for that. Yeah,
yeah,
that happens once in a while.
exactly.
Nice.
This this album has been a big, I don't want to say a surprise to me because I get a lot of stuff from Frontiers and from other companies
Mm-hmm.
that I have no idea what to expect. I see the cover and I get a press release and I'm like, so much of what we get is either more of the same or maybe not very good, but Frontiers does a good job of kind of staying in that sweet spot of melodic rock, and there are not too many
Mm-hmm.
duds, but still, to stand out, I think an album has to be special, and I think yours was one of those ones that stood out for me this year, and
No.
I just had to like write back to the PR guy and say, hey, can we make this interview happen? Because I really digging this
Oh,
album. So, um,
oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah, what you and Mike have put
Happy
together
to hear that.
has been very enjoyable, and I think it just needs to be heard because I think it's got a
Mm-hmm.
little something for everybody. Great melodies, great good lyrics. The hooks are very
Oh, yeah.
good. The playing is outstanding. So everything's good,
Mm-hmm.
and I really hope it does really well for you.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Well, I appreciate your time today talking to me about this, and like I said, the best of luck to you with this release. Is there a place where people can buy it that helps you more than say going to Amazon?
Um, so not really. Wherever I think Frontiers, they also have their website.
Mm-hmm.
I think I on my Instagram page it is I have on my like bio page. I have the link to go and get different like they're like for Europe they have different websites.
Mm-hmm.
And then to buy it from the United States, there's another website. And then there's Spotify, iTunes, and such. So just go listen. I would say that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can buy too, if you're into CDs, obviously, um, it
Yep.
looks nice and yeah, it's a good addition.
You can see the shelves behind me that I like the
Oh
physical
yes,
product.
you love the physical.
Yes,
Yes,
I love the
I
physical
do
product.
too. I
Yeah.
still buy CDs.
Um, where can people find you online? Where's a good place to find you?
So I'm pretty active on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's my name, Nevena, Nevena music. So it's pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Yes, and then I have the same one is for TikTok. Um, and then I have Facebook too.
Yeah.
Um, which is I probably just by my first last name.
Okay.
I do have website and people can send me emails through website. Like there's a contact form that they can fill out and reach out if they want to stay in touch. And so there are ways.
There are ways. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nevena, for telling me about this album and for giving me a little bit of background and your story. I appreciate your time, and I wish you nothing but the best of
So,
success with this.
thank you so much, Michael. My pleasure. It was really nice talking to you. It was fun. And well, I hope to see you soon again. Who knows, maybe in Florida. Maybe we perform at some of the festivals and you come by.
That would be great.
That would be great. Thank you for having me and Happy New Year.